welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. And if you've been here before, welcome back, welcome back. What's up, what's up? Hey y'all. So as many of you know, I have recently completed flight attendant ground training, and I am going to give you my 5 quick tips on how to survive flight attendant training, because you know what? Flight attendant training is like boot camp. And if you haven't seen my training video, make sure that you click somewhere up here and you go ahead and watch that video, because I give you pretty much my layout of my entire 32 days of training. So we're just gonna dive right into how to survive boot camp. Flight attendant training. So my first step on how to survive flight attendant training is to get sleep. I mentioned this in my training video a lot, and I'm gonna mention it again here. You need to sleep. It is not worth being up to 1 and 2 o'clock in the morning. And for me, I was in pod A. So we got a lot of early start times. So there was no way that I was gonna be up to 1 o'clock in the morning, and then I need to also wake up at 4 to be on the bus by 5. Like that's not gonna work for me, and it's not productive, it's not healthy. You need sleep, and your brain needs to sleep to kind of, internalize everything that you have learned and to remember it. Trying to force yourself to study is just not productive in my opinion. Now, if you're somebody who operates like that, go ahead and do your thing. But for flight attendant training, I just don't think that it would be successful. Now, you have a lot of information coming at you. Like, you're basically learning something new every day. You need sleep to internalize that. Like, I don't have any other way to put it. If you're tired, take a nap. Set a bedtime, get your full 8 hours. Drink water. I guess that can be a subset of 1A. Make sure you are hydrated and drink water, especially in Utah, because Utah is hot and dry. Tip number 2 is figure out your study method. See me, I graduated in 2016, right? So I'm kind of like out of touch with studying. And if I'm being 100% honest with you, I did not study in college. I kind of was that person that like looked it over. Like I look at notes and stuff, but I never actually studied. Like I would not open a book and be like, I need to learn this, I need to learn this, I need to learn. I didn't study. I winged it. I winged it through college. And I was like kicking myself in the butt before I left for training, because I'm like, what is going to be the best way for you to study and learn this information? Because you cannot wing it. Now, some people have these natural abilities where they can wing it in any situation. I am not one of those, okay? So needless to say, I had to figure out my study method. But once I figured out my study method, once I figured out how to pass, it was just up from there. Now, I will say I didn't learn this right off the bat. Like I didn't show up to training like, this is my study method, this is how I'm gonna do it, and this is how I'm gonna pass. I did really good on my first exam, and I can't even tell you how I studied for it. I think I just looked over the notes in the study guide and I did like a Quizlet. But what I did learn is that Quizlets help. Okay, I did that with like our entry exam. I made a Quizlet and it helped me ace the entry exam. And then for my first exam, I used the Quizlet and the study guide. Now, a lot of people out there, especially some people in my class, they chose that their study method was reading the manual. I was not doing it. I couldn't read the manual and get the information from it because my brain just would shut down. And it would just not retain any of the information that I read. So I just felt like it was counterproductive. So for me personally, my study method was to review my study guides, review my class notes, and to do Quizlets. There are already some Quizlets made out there, but then there are also, like, you can make your own based on your study guide. So try it and see if it works for you. I didn't really tap into that study method until like day 8. And then later on, I realized like me trying to write all the information from the PowerPoint is counterproductive, because I'm not even going back in my notebook really to look at those notes, besides to use it to fill out my study guide. So you just have to figure out what works for you, but figure out your study method as early as possible and stick to it, because once you have it, it will not fail you. Tip number 3, do not skip meals. I know it's hard because you got to feed yourself, but do not skip meals and eat well-balanced meals. Like I would have like 2 granola bars and a yogurt in the morning, or chocolate muffins. I love chocolate muffins. Or I would have a chocolate muffin in the morning. I would make sure I ate lunch, and I would make sure I ate dinner. You need to fuel your body, because you are going to be up working, whether it's a long virtual day, whether it's a hands-on day, you are going to need the fuel. And that ties back into sleep. You need to eat, you need to sleep, and you need to drink water. Keep your body in good health, because if not, your body will start to shut down on you, and that will affect your performance, and nobody wants that. All right, tip number 4. Now, this one is one that's near and dear to my heart, and shout out to my study buddies from my pod, some of my poddies, because they helped me achieve this tip. Tip number 4 is to take a brain break. Turn your brain off, take a break, go watch your favorite show. If you watch my training video, Grey's Anatomy is playing a lot in there because that's like my filler show, but I can also check out from what I'm doing, watch Grey's Anatomy, and then come back and check back in. We would study at the park. So we would take the start of our day and we would study on our own, you know, do what you need to do, your own study method. But then we would go to the park, we would social distance, we would have snacks, we would have, you know, sodas and water and fruit and all of this stuff. We would sit out on our blankets and towels and we would quiz each other. Now that method doesn't work for everyone, but by the time we were at the point of quizzing each other, we already had a lot of knowledge from studying on our own. So it really worked to be able to take a brain break, sit out in the fresh air, and just kind of get out of that, to get out of your hotel room and get out of that same setting. I think it's important to switch it up. The brain breaks for me were awesome. You can like just sit and chill. You can take a nap outside and you're social distance, so you're following all COVID rules. So definitely take a brain break, go take a walk, go for a run, or brain break / study break in the park, because those were very effective for me. And tip number 5 kind of runs into tip number 4, but I would say use your resources. A lot of people have either been flight attendants before. A lot of people may have already worked within the company that you're applying for, and they're just, you know, switching where they want to be. So use those people and use those resources. And also, everything that they give you because they want you to be successful. So use what they're giving you. Use your resources. Don't pull it out of thin air. Don't Google it, because that's going to give you false information. Don't go get it off of Facebook. Use the specific things that they are giving you, and I promise you, you will be successful. Like, you can do this. Those are my 5 tips, but I am going to give an honorable mention to something that helped me 100%. Like day 3, I went to Target and I bought a printer. Now you're probably like, Erica, I don't have money to go and buy a printer. Well, you can put money together with your people in your pod or people in your class, depending on how your training experience is going, and get a printer. Now the hotel did print some stuff for us, but for me to be able to print on my own, that helped me a lot, because that also goes back to my way of studying. I need paper. I can't fill stuff out digitally and get it. I need to write pen on paper. I need to write it down. I need to see it. I need to be able to touch it. It has to be tangible and flip through it. Flipping through the study guide, like digital flashcards work for Quizlet once I already learned the information. But for me to learn the information, I definitely needed to have pencil on paper. So the study guides that are provided for you, I suggest printing them out, because that is what helped me. And not only did I print them out for myself, I printed them out for my whole pod, you know, because it's necessary. Well, for me, it was necessary. So it was just like, hey, I'm doing this. I'll print for everybody. And that's kind of what we did. And I feel like it worked, because everybody who was there in my pod, we all passed. So it kind of works. So if you can, I would suggest getting a good printer. Well, guys, those are my top 5 tips with an honorable mention on how to successfully pass flight attendant ground training. If you have any questions, go ahead and drop them down below in the comments, and I will try to answer as much as I can. If you don't want your question out on YouTube, you can always go to my Instagram and you can send me a message on Instagram. If you have any questions that you would like to ask me, I'm down to answering anything that I can. If I can't answer it, I will also let you know that as well, because, you know, some things are top secret, you know. But thank you so much for watching my video, and I will see you in the next one.